What's going on, guys? Aero here, and guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit more about the Pokemon title that's going to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch. So by now, I'm sure that a lot of you are aware that Game Freak is working on a main series Pokemon game, a core RPG Pokemon title that's going to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch. And so we got this announcement last year during E3, where the president of the Pokemon company made the announcement that a core RPG Pokemon title is headed to the Nintendo Switch. Now, the one thing that we're still a little bit unsure about is exactly when this game is going to come out, as in that official announcement, the president of the Pokemon company said that the game may not release for more than a year. And even if we take a look at Nintendo's official documents for the year 2018, we can see that the core RPG Pokemon title is listed on there, but for the release date, it just says 2018 or later. Now, the release date for the Pokemon Switch game is definitely one thing that I know a lot of people in the Pokemon community have different thoughts on. There's so many people that are saying that the game is going to be coming out this year, there's some people that are saying that the game is going to be coming out next year, and there's even people that think that the game may not come as late until 2020. And so a lot of people have different thoughts about this, and I actually made a video on this as well, so if you guys haven't checked out that video, I highly encourage you to go and check it out, because in this video, I talk about pretty much all of the reasons why I think that the game has a chance of coming out in 2018, and all of the reasons I have as to why the game could come out in 2019. Now, I still fully believe that the game is not going to be coming out until 2019. I think it would just make the most sense for Game Freak to release this game in 2019. A lot of reasons make sense for me. The one thing is obviously Game Freak would like to spread out their generations. Usually generations last between like 3 or 4 years, and I think that's pretty much what they've always done. I mean, X and Y came out in 2013. 3 years later, we got Sun and Moon, which is in 2016. So it would make sense to wait 3 more years and then get Pokemon 8th generation with the Switch game in 2019. That would make a lot of sense, and usually they also wait, I think, a few years after a new system is released so that the system is already sold and a lot of people have it, so that Game Freak can just release their game and they already know that a lot of people have the Switch or whatever system that they're developing for. Because a lot of times they've done this as well. Like, usually people are thinking like, why can't they just release the game on this new system? And Game Freak usually waits a little bit, and I think that the biggest example of this would be like when Pokemon Black and White 2 were released, and I think at that time the 3DS was already out, and I know so many people, I was confused about this as well. There were so many people that were saying like, Game Freak, what are you doing? There's a brand new 3DS that's out right now. Why are you releasing games on the old DS? And I can completely understand that right now, because that's the same exact situation that was happening last year. When Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were released, everybody was like, Game Freak, there's a Switch right here. What are you doing? Why are you still releasing games on the 3DS? So I still think that the game is coming out in 2019. Now, for the sake of this video, let's pretend like the Pokemon Switch game is 100% confirmed to be coming out in 2018. So what I want to do in this video is kind of explain to you guys when we can expect the reveal for this Pokemon Switch title if it's coming out in 2018, and when we can expect the news to come out for it. So I think that the one thing that we can all establish is that the first Pokemon title on the Nintendo Switch is going to be Generation 8, a brand new generation with brand new Pokemon, new trainers, new region, and a whole bunch of new stuff. And I think that this just makes the most sense to be the first Pokemon title on the Nintendo Switch. I know some people told me it's going to be Diamond and Pearl remakes because that would be pretty easy for Game Freak to release in 2018, but that's not how they've always been doing it. Like, once remakes started becoming a thing, they've always had their new generation games, and then they've had their remakes. Like, we've had Ruby and Sapphire, and then our remakes of Fire Red and Leaf Green. We had our new games with Diamond and Pearl, and then our remakes with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We had our new games with Pokemon X and Y, and then our remakes with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. There's always been one remake that has been on every system as well. We've had our Kanto remakes on the Game Boy, we had our Johto remakes on the DS, and then our Hoenn remakes on the 3DS. So obviously the Gen 4 remakes or the Sinnoh remakes are going to be onto the Nintendo Switch. I don't think that it would make sense for Gen 4 remakes to be the first game on the Switch, because the Switch is like a system that everybody wants to have a new experience with, and I think it would just be a very bad move for Game Freak to make the Sinnoh remakes the very first games on the Switch. That's like making not Super Mario Odyssey come out last year and just having like Super Mario 3D World from the Wii U enhanced and put on the Switch. Like, it would just be a really bad move. They need to have a brand new experience to be the first Pokemon title on the Nintendo Switch. So now the question becomes, how are we going to get the reveal for this brand new Pokemon title on the Switch? And I think that the answer is pretty simple, and it's going to be through a Pokemon Direct, as Game Freak only likes to reveal things when the attention is going to be on them. They've never done any reveals during E3, they've never done any reveals during like a Nintendo Direct. Now sure, we've gotten information about Pokemon games during E3 and information about them in Nintendo Directs, but we've never gotten brand new Pokemon reveals during E3 or Nintendo Directs. They've always been in their own specific Pokemon Pokemon Directs, and I think that that would just make the most sense to have for this Generation 8 game that's going to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch. So when are we going to get this Pokemon Direct? And I think that the answer is actually really simple. If the Pokemon Switch game is going to be coming out this year, then the Pokemon Direct that's going to be revealing this game has to be in either January or late February. And the reason that I'm saying that is because since it's going to be a new generation, Game Freak has to reveal the game early so that they have a lot of time throughout the year to hype up the game and put a lot of trailers out so that they can generate a lot of hype within the Pokemon community, and then they can release the game towards the end of the year. And that's pretty much how it's always been. I mean, Pokemon X and Y were revealed on like the 8th day of the new year. I think that the Direct came out on like January 8th. We had a Pokemon Direct in 2013 that showed off Pokemon X and Y. That's when we got our new trailer, and that's when they showed off a whole bunch of new things for that game. And then with Pokemon Sun and Moon, we had a trailer, or like the reveal for that. It was also in a Pokemon Direct, and it came out I think in like February on 26th, I think that's when it was. And actually I think it was on February 26th because they had like their whole celebration for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, and that was like a really big day. And I think that that makes the most sense as to when we can expect this Pokemon Direct for Generation 8 to come out onto the Nintendo Switch, because I'm going to say right now, I still agree with that date. I'm going to say February 26th is the absolute latest we can expect to see this trailer or like this reveal for this Gen 8 game. And if we get to that day this year and we don't have any news on Pokemon Switch, then I'm going to say that it's not going to be coming out this year. Whenever we have a new generation of Pokemon, Game Freak always puts out multiple trailers for that game before it releases, and I think that they have to make sure that the reveal for that is early in the year so we know about the game and then it can release towards the end of the year. So I'm going to say right now, February 26th is the absolute latest I can expect to see the reveal for Pokemon Switch, and the only reason I'm saying that is because even though it's not like their anniversary, because of how that is like the first time that they made a Pokemon game, or like the first Pokemon game released on February 26th, and since this is such a big leap for Pokemon because of how it's going to be coming onto a home console, then I feel like maybe they could do a Direct on February 26th just because of how it's going to be such a big evolution in Pokemon to go from handheld to home console. So they might do a Direct on that day, but I think after February 26th we can't really expect to see a reveal for Pokemon Switch if it's going to be coming out this year. So by now, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, Aero, this makes a lot of sense. I think it's going to be Gen 8. I think they're definitely going to reveal it in a Pokemon Direct, and I think it would have to be during the beginning of the year if it's a brand new generation, so that Game Freak has a lot of time to release the game. It makes a lot of sense, but when can we expect this Pokemon Direct to happen? And here's the secret that I'm going to tell you, because this is really the key, and after this, it's all going to click together, and you're going to understand exactly when we can expect the Pokemon Direct to come out. Because there's one secret that they have to do first in order to get the Pokemon Direct to happen that's going to reveal Pokemon Switch. And the secret that I'm talking about as to when we can expect to see the Pokemon Direct for the Nintendo Switch game is Zeraora. So I'm sure that all of you know that Zeraora is a hidden Pokemon within the code for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. This is a brand new mythical Pokemon and the last Pokemon of Generation 7. Now the only thing is we haven't had an official reveal for Zeraora yet, but we do know that it does exist as it's in the code for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and when those games leaked like a week before they were supposed to come out, pretty much we knew about this Pokemon instantly after it was data mined. So this Pokemon does exist. It has a base stat total of 600, just like every single mythical Pokemon, and I'm pretty sure it's just a pure electric type, so it's a really cool Pokemon. But the thing is, this Pokemon is actually the key to when we can expect the Direct to come out for the Pokemon Switch title. Now this made so much sense to me once I actually put all the pieces together, and that's what I'm going to try to make you guys understand right now. It's actually so simple, and right after this and after I explain all of this to you, you guys are going to be like, well, Aero, you're so right, this makes so much sense, and I fully understand where you're going to try to go with this, because it's very easy for you to understand, and it makes total sense as to when we can expect the Pokemon Direct for the Generation 8 Pokemon Switch game. So let me help you guys understand this. So as you all know, Zeraora is the last Pokemon of Generation 7, and the Pokemon Switch game is going to be Generation 8. So it would make no sense for Game Freak to reveal Generation 8 for Pokemon, show off a whole bunch of new Pokemon and stuff like that about this new generation, if they haven't even completed their previous generation by showing their very last Pokemon. So this is why it makes a lot of sense. They're not going to show us anything with Generation 8 or have this Pokemon Direct with Generation 8 if they haven't completed Generation 7 and revealed Zeraora yet. It's kind of easy to explain it if you can kind of think of it like this. When Pokemon Red and Blue came out, there was a hidden Pokemon that was in it that we found out later was going to be Mew. If you remember, Mew was a hidden Pokemon inside of Pokemon Red and Blue. I'm pretty sure there was no way for you to normally find Mew throughout the game. It was just a hidden Pokemon, and after a lot of people were like discovering this glitch and like having a way to be able to get Mew, people discovered that Mew actually exists. But let's pretend like we didn't know Mew was in the game and like it was just hidden inside of the code for Pokemon Red and Blue, and it was actually going to be like distributed later and like they weren't going to talk about it until after. So let's pretend like Mew is hidden throughout the game. Now let's say that they already had a Direct and they revealed the next new generation of Pokemon. They revealed Pokemon Gold and Silver, and they showed off the new starters. They showed off Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. And let's say after they did all of that and they showed off all of those new Pokemon, then after like a few weeks later they decided to reveal Mew. Now if you aren't really into the Pokemon news and you didn't know about Mew and how it was hidden inside of the code, you would logically think like, let's see, I didn't see this Pokemon in Pokemon Red and Blue, and I already know that there's a brand new Pokemon generation that's going to be coming out, so obviously this new Pokemon Mew is going to be a part of Gen 2. Like that's how you would logically think, and it makes a lot of sense. So that's exactly what would happen here. People would see Zeraora if it was revealed after the Pokemon Gen 8 Direct and after we've seen the Gen 8 starters. People would think like Zeraora is just a brand new 8th gen Pokemon, even though it's still a part of Gen 7. It would create a ton of confusion, and a lot of people would be really clueless as to where Zeraora belongs, and it would just create a lot of mayhem. And of course some of you might be thinking, well Aero, I already know it's a Gen 7 Pokemon, and that's because you're watching this video right now and you're interested in the Pokemon news. There's people out there who just buy the Pokemon games, they just play them, and then they wait for the next new games to come out. They don't watch like Pokemon YouTubers, they don't follow Pokemon news or anything like that. They just play the games and they watch Game Freak's official trailers. So if you're like that, then you don't even know that Zeraora exists. And so that's why this makes a lot of sense. They're not going to show us the Pokemon Generation 8 Direct until after Zeraora is revealed. So yeah, this is the true answer as to when we can expect the Generation 8 Pokemon Direct. And so the thing is, Zeraora needs to be revealed soon, because like I said, if the Generation 8 Direct is coming, it has to be soon. It has to be in either late January, because January is wrapping up. We're pretty much already halfway through January at this point, and it has to be in either late February. Like I said, February 26th is like the last day I can expect to see a Pokemon Switch Direct, and at that point, we don't know anything about Pokemon Switch. There's no way that Pokemon Switch could be coming out in 2018. So yeah, really the thing here is now, when is Zeraora going to be revealed? That's the thing here, because once Zeraora is revealed, then we are open to see a Pokemon Direct at any point. Like I said, after Zeraora is revealed, there's no reason why we can't expect to see a Pokemon Direct. But right now, we can't expect to see any type of Pokemon Direct until after Zeraora is revealed. And the thing is, Game Freak doesn't even have to do like an official like reveal for Zeraora either. They could literally just put up a tweet saying like, hey trainers, a brand new species of Pokemon has been discovered. What could this mythical Pokemon Zeraora be hiding? Stay tuned for more details. Like, they could just do something like that, and that could count as a reveal. They don't have to have like a trailer or anything for Zeraora, but the thing is, they have to reveal it until we can expect to see the Direct for the Generation 8 Pokemon Switch game. So I asked you guys on Twitter to see when we can expect to see Zeraora. Like, I asked you if you wanted to be featured in my video. So let's take a look and see if we got any responses here. I'm actually going to go to my Twitter page right now, and I did tweet about this a few days ago, so I don't know if we got any responses. So I'm going to check right here. Gonna have to scroll down a little bit. Alright, so here's the thing. I said right here, when do you think we'll hear info about Zeraora? Reply to this tweet with your thoughts and you could be featured in my next video. So let's see, we got a response here from Dark Gym Leader, who says, it will reveal on Korokoro February 2018 for sure. Like Shaymin, Darkrai, Magearna, Zorua, and Zoroark, and Sylveon, these months' official reveal were on February. I can't remember the other months, but Game Freak always reveal new Pokemon on February. So this guy's actually onto something. I don't really know that much about the history of Pokemon and reveals, but if it's actually going to be in February, then we can expect to see the Pokemon Direct come real soon. And do you remember what happened with Pokemon Sun and Moon? We had that Magearna reveal and everybody was going nuts because we were like, is this a Gen 7 Pokemon? Is Gen 7 coming? And sure enough, it turned out to be with Pokemon Sun and Moon. So they could exactly do something like this, but the thing is, Zeraora isn't a Gen 8 Pokemon. Like, we know for a fact it's not a Gen 8 Pokemon because it's in Ultra Sun and Moon. It's like a new Pokemon that's hidden inside of the code of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But I think it would make a lot of sense if they revealed the Pokemon, if they revealed Zeraora in the Korokoro edition with February, then after that they can just have a Pokemon Direct in late February that could reveal the Pokemon Switch title. So I definitely agree with that if we see Zeraora in February 2018. I think this guy, Pop-Tart, is saying, I think a fall direct would be most likely. So here, if you're saying a fall direct, then I don't think we'll see Pokemon Switch in 2018. Because if Zeraora isn't revealed until later in the year, then there's no way that we can expect to see a Pokemon Direct. And that's really on Game Freak to see when they're going to reveal the game. If they really want to hold back on the Zeraora reveal until like June or July, then I don't think we can expect to see the Pokemon Switch game come out this year. We also got a response here from Pika Raichu saying that it could be in either late 2018 or even early 2019. Now, I don't think that there's any reason that the Zeraora reveal is going to be in 2019. It's definitely going to be in 2018 because Zeraora is 2018's mythical Pokemon, so that would just make the most sense. Like, we've always had a mythical every single year, so that would be the most logical reason to reveal Zeraora this year. But yeah, it's just a question as to when we can expect to see the Zeraora reveal. So yeah, if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, definitely go and follow me at Aero so you can have a chance to be featured in videos like this. And thank you to all of you guys who responded to this tweet as well. So yeah, there you go guys, Zeraora is the key as to when we can expect to see the reveal for Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch. Once Zeraora is revealed, I think at any point then we can expect to see a direct come out that's going to reveal Pokemon Switch. But yeah, it really just comes down to when the Zeraora reveal is going to be. And like I said, February 26th is like the latest day I'm going to say, just in my opinion, as to when we can expect the reveal to come out for Pokemon Switch, because it is a new generation and so it has to be revealed early. If after February 26th we don't have any news on Pokemon Switch, then I don't think that the game is going to be coming out this year. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all it is for Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch. It's really simple. I don't think it was really that hard to understand. Zeraora is the secret to when we can expect to see Pokemon Switch come out. So hopefully the Zeraora reveal is going to be early. I hope they don't push it until like the middle of the year or something like that. If it does turn out to be early, then I think that we can really expect to see Pokemon Switch come out this year. Now, before I wrap up this video, I do want to add something that I found pretty interesting, and this isn't like a leak or a rumor, but it's something that comes from a video game analyst, and these are like people who think from like a business standpoint and like when we can expect to see some information. So we actually have an announcement here from a senior analyst at SMBC Nikko Securities. Now, I don't know what this means or like how prestigious this is, but this is like a person who I think is really respectable, and like a lot of people think of this person as like making a lot of big statements. And so this person made a prediction that we're going to expect to see some big Nintendo Switch announcements for Pokemon, Animal Crossing, and Super Smash Bros. On the Switch around March. So this is a pretty big announcement, and I don't know if it's going to be true. Like, obviously this is just a prediction here from a business standpoint, but I think it's still interesting how the person is saying that, and I think it could be true. Now, I don't think for a fact that we're going to see all of these types of games come out this year. Maybe they will. I mean, Nintendo does have a really big goal of selling Switches this year, but I think it could make sense for Pokemon, as like I said, February 26th, that's pretty much like around March. I guess at the end of February and the beginning of March, I think maybe then we could see the reveal for Pokemon Switch. But like I said, after March, like after like the first week of March, there's really no reason that Game Freak could reveal Pokemon Switch games. And so there you go guys, Zeraora is the key to when we can expect to see the Pokemon Switch game. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I think as soon as Game Freak reveals Zeraora, then I think at that point, anytime we can expect to see a Pokemon Direct that is going to reveal Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch. So hopefully the Zeraora reveal is going to be early. I hope they really reveal this Pokemon real soon, so then we can expect to see Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch, because I'm so excited about that game. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button, and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think we're going to see a Pokemon Direct for Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch? When do you think that we're going to see the Zeraora reveal? And when do you think the Pokemon Switch game is going to come out? Definitely let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have a lot of Pokemon Switch content in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero if you ever want to be featured in videos, or just tweet to me or send me something. Definitely be sure to follow me on Twitter. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.